Hello, welcome to this video on Dhammapada, chapter 7, that's the Arahanta Vagga, verse 1 and verse 90 in the consecutive numbering. As usual, I'll read it first without the text on screen, and then I'll call up the text, the written text. Gatadhino visokassa vippamuttassa sabbadhi sabbagantappahinassa perilahu navidyati. We are now. I'll enlarge it. Gatadhino visokassa vippamuttassa sabbadhi sabbagantappahinassa parirlahu navidyati. We have here for the whole of the first line and the first half of the second line a series of genitives, and the governing words are parilahu na vidyati. Look at parilaha, which can basically be translated as suffering. I've done a note on that at the bottom of the page. It's from there's the root da, meaning to burn, cognate with our English word day, and with the prefix peri, cognate of the Greek peri, meaning around. It's peridahati, to burn all around, to consume by fire. Now, in Sanskrit, this root with da, as the dental d, always remains the dental d. In Pali, however, it can be pronounced as the retroflex d, the subdotted d. And we have the general rule that where you have a retroflex d, the same applies to the aspirated form d. If it's intervocalic, if just the single consonant, doesn't work with a double consonant, if it's a single consonant, a single d, intervocalically between two vowels, it tends to become the retroflex l. We see the same phenomenon in modern Hindi, for example, where barda becomes barda, the d becomes a r sound, a retroflex r. If it's single and it occurs between two vowels, that's the same phenomenon that we see occurring in Pali. The d becomes a l, so paridaha, paridahati. So, as so often, the meaning is extended here, the burning all around, so the fever of passion, and also distress and pain generally. Now, there's a potential reason for why the d became retroflex in Pali. It's not justified phonetically, although I should say there's no historical reason for it phonetically. But dahati also means to put, from the root dha, and it is possible that because there was an ambiguity in Pali, dahati could mean either to put or to burn, that it was differentiated as time went on by just putting one of them retroflex, so dahati, dahati, in the ear of the native speaker, there would be no confusion between those two sounds. Now, this ambiguity or confusion could not exist in Sanskrit, where dahati means burn, the same as Pali, but dha is a reduplicating verb, so the present tense is not dahati, but dadhati, to put. So, as I say, the ambiguity doesn't exist in Sanskrit, but it does in Pali. So, anyway, parirlaho, no burning or suffering. Parirlaho navidyati. Vidyati, let me call up iPad. Very common that something navidyati means it doesn't exist, it's not there. iPad, come on iPad, here we go. Yeah. So the root vid, well-known root, to see or to know, and there's also a root, a subsidiary root, vind, from that same root, from which is the same as our English word find, wit, find, knowing about something, finding it, knowing where it is. Now, so in Sanskrit, it makes a passive form, it is known or it is found, vidyate. It's the same as the French, il y a, and the Spanish I, and the Italian c'è, just indicates the existence of something, vidyate. And you see, if something navidyate means it doesn't exist, there is no something or other. So parillahu navidyate. So vidyate, it by standard phonetic mutation will become, sorry, I got that wrong, will become vidyati in Pali. And remember that these atmanepada endings have, okay, they're still around here and there in Pali, but broadly speaking, they aren't used. Whereas in Sanskrit, they're very regularly and carefully used. In Pali, not so much. So treat this vidyati effectively as a passive verb. So parilahu navidyati, there is no pain or suffering. Now, all of these genitives, katadino genitive, visokassa genitive, vipamutassa genitive, sabbhagantapahinassa genitive, means there is no suffering for those people. So genitive dative, there's no suffering of those people, there's no suffering for those people. That accounts for the series of genitives. So there is no suffering for these, is it four? Yeah, for four categories of people. And what are those four categories? There's the Gatadino. In Vedic, we have the noun, masculine noun, adhwan, which is in Vedic originally meant a stretch, as in not stretching as in stretching around, but a stretch of time or a stretch of distance. And in Pali, it became an ordinary noun, so adha. So adha meant a space of time, but also much more commonly in Pali, specifically your road or your journey. So the emphasis is not on the physical road, paved or flattened track, but the idea of the journey, the idea of the work put into traveling that road. So journey is probably better than path or road. So it can have path or road, but there's always the meaning of the labor, the toil of making that journey. So gata means gone. So we can make an adjectival form, a noun adjective form, in, and the genitive becomes, oops, sorry, I misheard an H there. So gatadhino, one whose journey is done, one who has the gone journey, one whose journey has been gone, one whose journey has been completed. Remember, this o is the genitive / dative form for the consonant stems, like our example, yogin, masculine singular yogi, accusative, sorry, yoginam, genitive dative, yogino, and this ino is the same as this ino here, for one who is gone journeyed, one who's gone his journey. Visokasa, one who is without sorrow. Sanskrit sorrow is shoka, so in Pali it becomes soka. We have the emperor Asoka, which in Sanskrit would be Ashoka. He is sorrowless, without sorrows. Here it's with vi, the separative prefix suggesting one whose sorrows have been taken away. Not so much without sorrow, but here it has more the implication of one who did have sorrow, but whose sorrows have departed or been taken away. So visokasa, and that's an adjective here, and it's in the genitive because again it's governed by this parilaho navijjati. Vipamuttassa sabbadhi. This is from the root much, meaning to let go, liberate, or free. Original meaning was just letting something go out of your hand. And then by extension, it came to mean spiritual liberation, a spiritual release. We have vimutti. So mutti on its own means a release, but it's more emphatic vimutti, released forth, out. We can also so in Sanskrit would be vimukti. So the ch becomes a k before a t. So vimukta, vimukti, Pali vimutti. We can have also pramukti, and you can combine them together. Vipramukti, Pali vipamutti. That suggests the kind of up and away, pra forth, vi away. So the up and away. It's quite a graphic imagery, not just being released, but like the imagery almost of a bird being released from the hand, up and away. So vipamutti. And the vipamutta, part of the past participle form, is one who has been set free. So there is parirlahu navijjati, there is no parirlaha for one who is vipamutta, for one who has been finally set free. Sabbadhi, from all sides or in every way. Now, according to the Pali English Dictionary, it says that sabbadhi is from the Sanskrit sarvadhi, but I do not find sarvadhi in Moni Williams. We do, however, find the equivalent meaning, Vishvasarva. They mean pretty much the same. Vishvadha, also alternatively Vishvadha, which just means from all sides and in every way, and in every way, and also has a temporal effect, as in at all times. And this dha ending sometimes creates an adjective. It's from the root dha, meaning to put, sometimes meaning to do. So all putting in all ways. It's actually cognate with our English verb to do. So just in all doings, in all manners, in all ways that it can be done, also in all times that it can be done. So that's so sabbadhi just means he's got released in every way, means that there's nothing left that binds him, that holds him back. Now, Sanskrit, so sabbaganta pehinassa. Pehinassa, from our well-known root, oops, what have we done here? From our well-known root, ha to abandon or leave, let go, renounce, usually construed with praha, Pali paha, when it means to let go or abandon, you much more often than not find it with the prefix pra in Sanskrit, pa in Pali, and it is slightly irregular because it makes its past participle in hina. So paha makes pahina. In fact, without the prefix, hina just means lesser, defective, and it's the same hina as the Hinayana Mahayana, which is why the Theravadins object, or sometimes object, to the appellation Hinayana, because it suggests that there's something defective, something not quite complete about it, whereas the Mahayana, the great vehicle, suggests that it is complete, or at least greater. Now, Sabbaganta Pehinassa, you see that the P is doubled here for the reasons that I'm sure pretty much all of you know already. Sabbaganta Pehinassa. It's because in Sanskrit it would be Sarva Grantha Prahinassa. So coming back to, oops, sorry, pressed the wrong button there. Oops. There we are. Praha, paha at the beginning of a word. You can't have a double consonant at the beginning of a word. However, where a short vowel precedes, there is, so to speak, a linguistic memory that it was originally a doubled consonant, and that's why it comes back to being a double P. So Sanskrit granta prahina, Pali ganta pahina. There's a memory that it should originally have been a pra. That accounts for this doubled consonant there. So one whose ties have been abandoned, a tie abandoned. I mean, tie is in a bond or a fetter. And this is a possessive compound, one who has a ganta, a bond that has been abandoned. Ganta pehina. Sabbaganta pehina, one who has abandoned all fetters or bonds. Now, this ganta, the original meaning of the word grant in Sanskrit is a knot or a tying. And by extension, of course, that ties you or binds you. Also, by extension, was a literary work on the grounds that you had your pages of it that were bound together, tied together. So we sometimes see this word used in the sense of a literary composition. And for the Sikhs, for example, you have the Guru Granth Sahib, the Guru Granth, which is the Guru, the teaching volume. It's their sacred text, the Guru Granth Sahib, they call it. But from this original meaning of tying or binding. So, Parilahu Navijati, there is no burning around, distress, suffering. 4. Gatadhino, one who has gone the journey, stayed the course, run the course, done the journey. Visokasa, who is rid of soka, Sanskrit shoka, rid of sorrows. Vipamutassa sabhati, Sanskrit vipramuktasya vishvadha, means who has been set free in every way. Sabbaganta pahinassa, who has abandoned, of all of whose ties are abandoned. Sabbaganta pahinassa. All of these are genitives because parilaho navijati, there is no parilaha for people within that category. So I'll read it once more. I'll call up text. There we are. Gatadhino visokassa vippamutassa sabbhadi sabbhagantapahinassa parelahu navijjati. And once more. Gatadhino visokassa vippamutassa sabbhadi sabbhagantapahinassa parelahu navijjati. And that's all on Dhammapada 7.1.